Hello dear students, I am back with your chemistry first unit which we people were discussing, that is matter. So in the previous video we have discussed about the interconversion of solid into liquid state and liquid into gaseous state. Today we will going to discuss about the direct interconversion of solid into gaseous state and vice versa. So direct interconversion means the solid will directly change into the gaseous state. It will not change into the liquid or the intermediary state. So change interconversion of solid into gaseous state and vice versa means the change of gases into the solid state. So the process due to which the solid directly changes into the gaseous state on heating without changing first into the liquid state, and the gaseous state on cooling directly changes into solid state without changing first into liquid state is called sublimation. So how can we define sublimation? It is the process in which the solid directly changes into the gaseous state on heating. It do not change into the liquid and then into the gaseous state. It directly changes into the gaseous state on heating, and vice versa. Vice versa means the gaseous state directly changes into the solid state without undergoing the change into the liquid state. So this is being done on cooling. So this entire process in which the solid directly changes into the gaseous state on heating or gaseous changes into the solid state on cooling, this process being referred to as sublimation. The gaseous form of solid is called sublime. So the gaseous form of solid, what do we call the gaseous form of solid? It means when the solid changes into the gaseous state, then that gaseous state is being referred to as sublime. Whereas the solid state formed after the gaseous state on cooling is called sublimate. When gases changes into the solid state, so the solid state which is being formed on cooling the gaseous state, then that solid state is being referred to as sublimate. So what is sublime? The gaseous form of solid is called sublime, and the solid form of gaseous state is being referred to as your sublimate. Examples of certain subliming solids. Subliming solids means the solids which undergo the process of sublimation. It includes NH4Cl. NH4Cl means ammonium chloride. I2 iodine, solid carbon dioxide. This is also known as dry gas. Naphthalene balls, which we basically use at home, and in your wardrobes it is being kept between the clothes. And camphor. Camphor means kapoor, which we basically use for the rituals. Next is naphthalene balls. Naphthalene balls are commonly known as mothballs. In the common language, we call these naphthalene balls as the mothballs. They are kept in cupboards containing woolens or silk cloths so as to protect them from insects. Basically, they are being used in keeping in the cupboards, and for protecting what? It is being kept in the cupboards to protect our woolen clothes and the silk clothes from the insects. So slowly and gradually the mothballs become smaller in size with the passage of time. As the time passes by, these mothballs, they become smaller and smaller in size, and after few weeks or few months you will not be able to find the mothballs which people have kept in the cupboards. Why is it so? Because slowly and gradually those mothballs from the solid state, they have changed into the gaseous state and they have evaporated into the atmosphere. It is because the naphthalene changes to its water vapors at the room temperature, and this process of change of the naphthalene into the naphthalene vapors, this basically takes place at the room temperature. It do not require excessive heating or excessive cooling for the process to take place. It can even take place at the room temperature. Next is we will show it with the help of a diagram. In this diagram, what we will do, we will place a few grams of NH4Cl crystals. NH4Cl means ammonium chloride. We will take crystals of ammonium chloride in a glass test tube and we will plug it with the help of a cotton plug at the top, so that whatever vapors will evaporate, they cannot move into the atmosphere. So then we have to clamp this test tube on a stand and after putting the solid NH4Cl or solid ammonium chloride into the test tube, we have to heat it, we have to supply it heat with the help of a burner or a spirit lamp. When slowly and gradually we will supply the heat to the solid camphor or to the test tube with the help of a spirit lamp or a Bunsen burner, what will happen? Slowly and gradually these solid NH4Cl crystals will change into the vapor state. We can see them in the form of a vapors evaporating into the test tube. But since they are unable to evaporate out of the test tube because that test tube is being plugged with the help of a cotton plug, so when the entire solid ammonium chloride will change into the dense vapors, and those dense vapors are collected into the dense white fumes are collected into the test tube. After that we will put the kettle, we will switch off the burner, or we will turn off the spirit lamp or the burner, and we will keep the test tube for cooling down. When we will keep the test tube for cooling down, what we will see, after few minutes these dense white fumes, they will settle down at the sides of the hard glass test tube in the form of solid. So it means when the heat is being supplied, the solid NH4Cl is directly changing into the vapor state without undergoing the process of change into the liquid, and when it is being cooled, these liquids are directly changing into the solid state, and they are not undergoing the change or changing into the liquid. So this we can prove with the help of this entire diagram. Let us discuss it line by line. Place a few grams of NH4Cl crystals in a dry hard glass test tube and plug its mouth with a cotton plug. So I have already told you that we have to take few grams of ammonium chloride crystals, we have to put them in a glass test tube, and we have to close the mouth of that glass test tube with the help of a cotton plug or a cotton wool. Then clamp the hard glass test tube in an iron stand and heat it. Clamp means we have to attach, or we have to fix the hard glass test tube in an iron stand, and after fixing it in the iron stand, we have to start heating the hard glass test tube. In a few moments, dense white fumes of NH4Cl fill the tube. After few minutes, what we will see, this solid NH4Cl has converted into the dense white fumes of NH4Cl, and these dense white fumes has entirely filled up the glass test tube. Stop heating and allow the test tube to cool. When the entire solid NH4Cl has converted into the dense white fumes, then we have to stop heating the test tube and we have to keep it aside so that it can cool down. It is seen that dense white fumes disappears and a very fine white powdery deposit sticks to the side of the test tube. So after a few minutes, what we'll see that those dense white fumes, they will disappear from the test tube. We will not be able to see those dense white fumes when the test tube will cool down. After that, when the test tube is cooled down, what we will find that those dense white fumes have disappeared, and we will be able to see very fine white powdery deposit, and that deposit we will find at the side of the test tube. So this proves that the change of solid into the gaseous state directly without undergoing the process of change into the liquid state, and this entire process being referred to as your sublimation. Now till now we were discussing about the conditions which are taking place, or the processes which are being undergoing when the temperature, or by altering the temperature of a particular state of matter. Now we will study the effect of altering of pressure. If we will alter the pressure, what will be the effect of altering this pressure on the three states of matter? So atmospheric pressure helps in altering the states of matter. Always keep it in mind that the atmospheric pressure, the pressure of the atmosphere, it basically plays a vital role in altering the states of matter. When pressure is lowered, boiling point of a liquid is lowered. Keep these points in mind. If we will lower the pressure, if the atmospheric pressure is lowered, automatically the boiling point of a liquid is also lowered. It means pressure is directly proportional to boiling point. Increase in pressure, increasing boiling point; decrease in pressure, decrease in boiling point. This helps in rapid change of liquid into the gaseous state. And if the pressure is lowered and boiling point is increased, what will happen? The liquid will directly change into the gaseous state. Some of the examples are water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and rapidly changes into the steam. For example, as soon as water reaches a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it will directly change into the steam. However, if atmospheric pressure is lowered, it boils at a temperature far below 100 degrees Celsius and changes into vapor state. If we will decrease the atmospheric pressure, what will happen? The water, instead of changing into the gaseous state at 100 degrees Celsius, it will change into the gaseous state or the vapor state below 100 degrees Celsius. Carbon dioxide is a gas under normal condition of temperature and pressure. So we can say that solid carbon dioxide is a gas under normal conditions of temperature and pressure. If the conditions of temperature and pressure are normal, we are having normal atmospheric temperature, normal atmospheric pressure, that we can say that carbon dioxide is a gas. It can be liquefied by compressing it to a pressure of 70 times more than the atmospheric pressure. So if temperature and pressure is normal, carbon dioxide is a gas. But if we will compress this gas 70 times more than the atmospheric pressure, if the atmospheric pressure is 70 times more, if the pressure which is applied to this gas is 70 times more than the atmospheric pressure, then at that time what will happen? Carbon dioxide will not remain a gas, it will change into a liquid. If the pressure from liquid carbon dioxide is suddenly released, some amount of it changes into the solid carbon dioxide. If we will release the pressure, if the pressure from the liquefied carbon dioxide, if we will release some of the pressure from the liquefied carbon dioxide, then what will happen? That liquefied carbon dioxide will change into the solid carbon dioxide, which is also known as dry gas. Now, how does gas differ from vapor? So what is the difference between a gas and a vapor? A gas is a substance which exists in gaseous state such that its temperature is equal to or more than the boiling points of its liquid. So we can say gas is dead substance which basically exists in the gaseous state. And when does it exist in the gaseous state? When the temperature of that substance is equal to or it is more than the boiling point of the liquid state. A substance is said to be a gas when it exists in the gaseous state, and at that time the temperature is either equal to or the temperature is more than the boiling point of the liquid state. Some of the examples of gas are oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine and carbon monoxide. What is a vapor? A vapor is a substance which exists in gaseous state such that its temperature is lower than the boiling points of its liquid. It was equal to, gases was equal to or more than the boiling point of the liquid, whereas vapor is a substance which also exists in the gaseous state, but the condition is that the temperature should be lower than the boiling point of the liquid. Some of the examples are water vapor, alcohol vapor, HCl, hydrochloric vapors or hydrogen chloride vapors, etc. So the basic difference between both of them is gas also exists. Gas is also a substance which exists in gaseous state. Liquid is also a substance which exists in gaseous state, but the only difference is that in the case of gases, the temperature should be either equal to or it should be more than the boiling point of the substance in its liquid state, and in the vapor condition, the temperature of the substance should be lower than the boiling point of the substance in its liquid state. This is all for today, guys. In the next video we will conclude this chapter because only the law of conservation of mass is being left. I hope you like the video. Thank you.